Hey guys, welcome to this session by Intellipaat. So in this session, we're going to do a comparative analysis of Selenium and RPA. So now, RPA is also called Robotic Process Automation. Before moving on with this session, please subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss our upcoming videos, and also leave a like if you enjoy our content. So now, in this session, we'll be learning what exactly is Selenium, and then we'll understand what is RPA. Once that is done, once that is established, we'll move on to the comparison of Selenium and RPA, and that would be the end of the session. So now, without any further delays, let's begin with it.
So what is automation? So you would be hearing about automation probably everywhere, right? We want everything to be automated. We want it to be fast. We want it to be agile. We want it to be quick. So what does this automation basically mean? So automation basically refers to the technology by which a process or a procedure or anything is performed. So this is a process or a procedure which is performed without human interaction with the system or human assistance. Any process which is being achieved is called as automation. For example, automation could be is a very broad term, right? So if you can just press a button and a machine understands like what amount of coffee has to be put, how much of the milk has to be poured, how much steam has to be given, everything, and bring you a coffee, that is a form of an automation. So any task which is being created with minimalistic human interaction with the system to achieve an end result is automation, right? Another example would be an electric bill, right? So we have so many people in India, right, or anywhere across the globe, and everybody gets their electricity bill. So do you think anyone basically sits down and calculates everything? No, you have a process created for it, you have a service created for it, where you just take the reading one by one and it goes through the readings and it produces the bill, makes the bill and everything, and it mails it or sends it or uploads it to one particular person's account and everything like that, right? So nobody's just sitting there creating everything and doing everything, people are depending on automation things to get their things sorted, and there is a lot of different factors through which you can do automation. There is automatic bill payment, there is automatic credit card payment in the world, there is coffee machines, you have automatic bill generation, email generation, all of these different things that you can have in the automation section. So anything which is being done without the human interaction with the system is termed as automation. Now there are different kinds of automations as well, but we will not get into that right now. And the major use for automation in today's world has been differentiated into two basic parts which you can use, and for the understanding of the video we'll just understand that. So automation can be used to test your objects as well, and it can be used to perform actions as well. So you can use your ability to automate tasks to test the things that you have created. Let's say I've created a website, right? So I have a website which is working properly, and I just want to check if it is working properly, right? I want to see if it is working. So let's say I've created a payment website, right? And if I'm trying to do some payments, and I have created a way where my algorithm takes the value of the bill, subtracts it from the wallet balance which I have, and returns the result like, okay, bill was done or not, right? If that is the case, now there is a condition which it shouldn't be taking, right? So if I'm testing it manually, I can test it manually, or I can give some extreme scenarios to a bot to test it out and give me the results. So let's say if my wallet balance is negative, that is something which should not be allowed, right? In the scenario, you cannot have a negative wallet balance in the machine that I've created or in the application that I've created. Once I do that, and if it still returns the result, it means that something is wrong. So you're testing it using a bot. When you give it an end scenario, okay, this is not something which should work, and if it still works and returns the value, then bot has tested your various test cases and given out results based on that, and you can look into it and fix the bugs. So that is one way to go about automation. The other thing that you can do is, let's say if you want to generate a report every Monday and you want to send it to some XYZ person via mail, you can have a process created for it, and a bot will be initialized which can do all of these things and send that mail, generate the report, and send that mail to the requested person, and that is a form of automation as well. So that is what automation is. Now let's move on and talk about what is Selenium. So Selenium is basically a portable framework which is used for testing web applications. Now it provides a playback tool for authoring functional tests and regression tests and different tests that you can do, and you need to learn a scripting language and you can work with Selenium. It is as easy as that. Selenium was created in around 2004, and it is heavily used for testing the web applications that we have. It was created because manual testing will take a lot of time. Instead, what you can do is you can just write a JavaScript program and give it the n number of test cases, right? So what I gave you the example of the simple website is a very small example. You can have a huge enterprise application, right? So you will have n number of test cases, a lot of test cases which have to be done again and again to find out if your program is collapsing anywhere. And what you can do is you can write those test cases in Selenium, and you can basically have a web driver which can go and test it out for you. So Selenium is extensively used for testing web applications and nothing else. And Selenium's another very good feature is the fact that it is an open source thing, so you can use it for free. Everybody can use it. Whoever wants to use Selenium can use it. Selenium has few different components which allows it to do this automation testing and everything. So there is Selenium RC, which is Selenium Remote Controller. There is Selenium IDE, which is Integrated Development Environment. There is Selenium Grid, and there is Selenium WebDriver. So Selenium IDE is basically a simple way to, IDE is a Firefox plugin which can be installed easily to record and execute frequent test cases. Like you can do that very quickly with the help of the IDE. Selenium IDE was initially created by a developer from Japan as a Firefox plugin that just records and playbacks uses browser interaction. So it was basically known as Selenium Recorder initially, but now that has changed. And Selenium's remote control is basically something which is there to, it has been developed to overcome the issue of same origin policy, which is SOP. Under this policy, basically a JavaScript code cannot access the element of other domain that are different from the parent domain. So what it basically means is, for example, if a JavaScript program uses a code written for, let's say, our site www.intellipaat.com, then the SOP allows it to access the pages sites such as intellipaat.com/allcourses or intellipaat.com/blog. But prohibiting it to access another domains like, let's say, google.com or java.com or something like that. So before Selenium RC came into the existence, test users would locally install the copies of Selenium core and web server with the web applications to be tested, so that they would be belonging to the same domain. So RC is basically created, this Selenium RC was created to eliminate the use case of the SOP, which is the same origin policy. To eliminate that, Selenium RC was created. So similarly, we have a WebDriver, which basically provides an interface for creating and executing test cases. And finally, we have Selenium Grid, which is one of the Selenium testing tools used in the combination with Selenium RC to execute test cases remotely. So these are the 4 components of Selenium. So as you can understand, this is extensively used for doing web application testing, right? So and nothing else. So if you want to automate your tasks in your web browser, what you go is for Selenium.
Just a quick info, guys. Test your knowledge of RPA by answering this question. What is the topmost layer in layered design of RPA? A. Subprocess. B. Process. C. Atoms. D. Component layers. Comment your answers in the comment section below. Whoever gets the correct answer will win 5,000 points in Intellipaat wallet. Subscribe to Intellipaat to know the winners. Now, let's continue with the session.
And you can write your test cases in different programming languages like Java or Python in order to be using Selenium, right? Let's move on and talk about what is RPA. Now, this is where it gets interesting. So Selenium is just being used for web browsers, right? What if you wanted to automate your tasks like creating a report or, keeping a hand of the stock markets? You just want to see how the stocks are flowing every single day. So what you want to do is go to the website of stock exchange. Let's say look for Tesla, and from Tesla, copy the stock values, like whatever is risen or went down at the end of the day every single day. And you want to plot a graph. This has to be done every single day. You can either do it yourself and waste time, or you can create an RPA program which does it for you. So let me dive into what is RPA. So RPA basically belongs to the definition that the process of automating operations with the help of robots without human interaction with the system is called as RPA. So this is the definition, but let's break this word down to understand what is going on, right? So RPA is made up of 3 different words: robotic, process, and automation. All these 3 words make up this entire term, and if we understand each word individually, it will be better for us to get the whole view of what RPA is. So let's start with the first word, which is robotic. Robotic is anything anything which mimics a human action. So for example, if there is now a bot, right, so which can copy your hand gestures and people can do operations using that. So there's a glove, if you do that and that bot retains the precise movement of humans hands, and you can basically perform surgeries using that. But in our scenario, what RPA is doing is copying your action. So let's say if I move my mouse from left hand side corner to right hand side corner, double click on an Excel file, open the Excel file, go downstairs somewhere and type something. If this entire task is copied by a robot, where I just click a start button and it opens and goes and copies my actions, that is something which a robot is doing instead of me. So robotic basically refers to any actions which is done by a robot and not you. It is mimicking the actions that you're doing, but it is not you who is doing these actions. A robot is doing that. Process is a set of sequential actions. So in the case where we were creating that, getting the information from the Google Finance page about the stocks, so you were doing a set of actions, right? You were opening your web browser, going to the particular website, looking for a particular stock, for example Tesla.
Okay guys, a quick info: if you're looking for an end-to-end training in either Selenium or RPA, Intellipaat provides a complete certification training on both of these technologies, and you can find that link in the description box below. Now let's continue this session.
And from Teslas, you are looking for some particular valuable information and then storing it in an Excel sheet. So this is a set of actions, right? Opening a web browser, going to one particular website, and then from there copying some information, storing it in your Excel sheet, and then saving it and closing it. This is a set of sequential actions in order to gain a end result, right? So that is a set of sequential actions. That is a process. And automation is anything which is achieved. So we discussed automation, anything which is achieved without human interaction with the system. So when you put all of these together, basically when some action is being performed by following a set of sequential steps or sequential actions in order to gain an entire result without you interacting with the system by a robot, then in that scenario that is termed as RPA. So for example, and what an RPA does is basically when you basically create a program where you give out a set of sequential actions, right? So you want to open browser, go to this XYZ page and do something. So when you click the start button on this RPA program or RPA tool, it initializes a robot which will read the instructions that you have provided, and it will perform each of those tasks one by one. And once it is done with all of those tasks, your end result would be achieved, right? So that is the idea behind RPA. So RPA, mind you, is unlike Selenium, is a technology. It's not something of a tool. RPA is a technology which has a lot of different tools. So there is a lot of different vendors in the market who provide different tools through which you can achieve RPA, right? So now let's talk about Selenium versus RPA. So we've discussed what is Selenium and what is RPA. RPA is a technology. Selenium is a tool for automating web applications. RPA can do n number of tasks, right? It can do a lot of different things, like it can do your backend processes, it can do your front end processes, it can click anywhere that you want, it can store information, get information, a lot of different things, can even perform addition, subtraction, everything. So RPA is a different kind of playing field to compare to Selenium. Now let's compare them on some basis. So let's start with costs. So cost, pretty much straightforward. I told you that Selenium is an open source tool, right? So it is free of cost. Anybody can use Selenium when they want to, wherever they want to. But when we talk about RPA, as I mentioned before, there's a lot of different vendors in the market. So if we just talk about the top 3 vendors in the market, there is Automation Anywhere, there is UiPath, and there is Blue Prism. We have 3 market leaders in that domain. And all of these 3 have some kind of a community edition where UiPath gives you free community edition for people to learn and explore about the tool, but that is fine. But Automation Anywhere and Blue Prism also provide some trial versions where you can use it. But if you're looking at as from an enterprise's perspective or an organization's perspective, you're looking to buy licensed applications, right? So you're looking to buy extensive products which will cost you some different amounts of money depending on the number of bots that you're going for and what kind of licenses you're going for. So RPA is costlier than Selenium because Selenium is basically free, right? So that is the first comparison. So the second comparison is the programming knowledge required. So this is for you as an end user. So if you are looking to do web-based, so there's a lot of opening for SDT, which is software development role in the testing field, right? So STET's job is basically to test a lot of different tools, and for every STET which is out there in the world, Selenium is absolutely important. So when you are testing any web application, it is very important that you understand programming languages. So, and for using Selenium itself, it is very important that you understand Java. So you'll be involved with Java a lot. So for Selenium, you would need a lot of programming language knowledge, programming knowledge in order to work with Selenium. Whereas with RPA, majorly all the tools are pretty much a drag and drop. You can very simply drag and drop. programming language does help in understanding RPA, but it is not something which is absolutely required in order to work with it. Right? For Selenium, it is absolutely required. For RPA, not so much.
Just a quick info, guys. Test your knowledge of Selenium by answering this question. What is the interface available in Selenium? A. Select. B. WebDriver wait. C. WebDriver. D. Selenium. Comment your answers in the comment section below. Whoever gets the correct answer will win 5000 points in Intellipaat wallet. Subscribe to Intellipaat to know the right answer and also the winners. Now, let's continue with the session.
So in there, you can just understand what to use where. Next one is the components used to automate tasks. Now RPA, as we discussed, it basically initializes a bot. So you create a set of sequential actions and the bot basically does all the tasks for you. So the automation is achieved using a bot. Whereas for Selenium, you use a WebDriver which automates various tasks on various web browsers. So it could be Safari, Google Chrome, Firefox, Microsoft Edge, anything. All of these different browsers, you can automate tasks through Selenium, and it is done with the help of a WebDriver, which is a component. Now, next one is the platform dependencies. So platform dependency, what I mean by that is basically where your automation can happen. So if you're looking to just automate web applications, by all means use Selenium. Selenium will automate all of your web browser activities or web applications. It will automate. So if you want to test your website or anything like that, Selenium is the way to go about it. Or if you want to automate some tasks on your web browser, then also Selenium is the way to go about it. But if you're looking to automate backend tasks like data entry or invoice processing and performing different tasks like that, then you're looking into RPA. Now RPA comes with a huge amount of capability in here. So RPA can basically automate all of your tasks on your desktop, as well as it can automate tasks on a virtual environment as well. So what I mean by that is a lot of people who would be working on some virtual system so you can connect your system to some virtual system somewhere and do perform tasks through that. A lot of companies also do VPNs and different things like that, where you can connect from your PC to another PC and work on in there. So basically RPA allows you to automate tasks on that virtual environment as well. So it's not just on your system, it can work on virtual systems as well, which is generally called as the Citrix automation in RPA, which is also a very huge factor of why RPA is being used in the industries these days. So platform dependencies, I think, is very less with RPA. It comes on top of the everything that you have, whereas Selenium is extensively used for web browsing as only. Right? Let's move on to the next one, which is the conclusion. So if you're looking to automate web applications, then you're looking at Selenium. Now a question might arise in your head, like RPA can do everything, right? It can do web browser automation as well. So why not use RPA rather than Selenium in that? Well, there's a lot of reasons behind it, but it is not generally recommended that you use RPA for testing purposes, because writing test cases is much more easier and faster in the case of Selenium, and doing any kind of testing is also preferred in testing environments. So RPA should not be used for testing environments, in my opinion personally, but you can use it to do so as well, but it's not recommended from my end. If you have some backend tasks that you want to automate, then RPA is the way to go about it. But if you're looking to automate your web application, web tasks, and do test automation, then the way that you're looking at is Selenium, in my opinion. So that is our comparative analysis on these two tools. Now let's talk about how to get started. So we have two very diverse fields which have a lot of job openings across the world. So how do you begin learning about all of these? So we at Intellipaat, we understand that an investment in knowledge always pays the best interest. That's why we provide a lot of free content in the form of blogs and YouTube tutorials. So you can read up various different blogs that we have on RPA as well as Selenium or any other technologies for that matter, or you can go on to our YouTube channel where you can watch long tutorials. We have on our YouTube channel informative videos like this where we do comparative analysis, tell you about how to get started your career in one particular field, and also we have long tutorials up to 7-8 hours where you can learn about the particular technology in and out. But if you're someone who's looking to learn about technologies more in depth, get hands-on information with proper trainer who is certified in, and get project work and lab exercises, then you're looking to enroll with us. So we at Intellipaat, we also provide paid courses where we get you to a live instructor where you can have a class and ask your doubts, work with other professionals, and get a lot of benefits out of it. So if you're interested in all of that, do check out our website and check out about the different details we have in there for you as well. So that is about that. So with that, I think guys, we have come to the end of this comparative analysis session.
Okay guys, a quick info: if you're looking for an end-to-end training in either Selenium or RPA, Intellipaat provides a complete certification training on both of these technologies, and you can find that link in the description box below. Okay guys, that's it for this session. I hope this session was helpful and informative for you. If you have any queries, leave a comment down below, or if you have any new suggestions for us to make as a video, please leave that also in the comment section down below. So thank you, meet you in another session.